welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish. Got a lot going on in the wrestling world right now, but let's get to kind of the elephant in the room. First off, Cody Rhodes was, I don't want to say let go but has left AEW. Obviously big news. You know, I'd kind of predicted that a big star would go to WWE, but we're not even sure that that's going to be the case. There's rumors flying around that he has spoken to WWE. Whether that's true or not, nothing's been confirmed. I mean, I'm seeing these reports that, he's been seen in Florida. Well, the home of AEW is in Florida, so that's not shocking or surprising. So, Jacksonville Jaguars are in Florida, which Tony Khan is part owner of. So, to say, he's been seen in Florida, supposedly filming some clips for at the facility down there for WWE. I don't know if that's true or not. Nobody's confirmed that. I mean, it'd be interesting if it is. It's kind of weird that WWE would want to re-sign Cody. I'm not sure what they would have to gain by doing this. They're constantly cutting wrestlers in efforts to shore up their budget and keep within projected goals. So I'm not sure how Cody Rhodes would affect that. I'm not sure that Vince McMahon or any of the executives at WWE see Cody Rhodes as anything but a mid-carder. Or as any type of draw. You know, obviously he was a gigantic part of AEW. He was an officer with the AEW, and very instrumental with the company. That brought the company about in many different ways. I'm not sure what to believe in this situation, because my initial reaction was that when I saw this, it all looked like a giant work. And it still would not surprise me if it is a work. That would not surprise me in the slightest bit, because I know Tony Khan has been promoting a big thing in wrestling coming up, and whatever that means, God only knows, because he's dropped hints like that in the past and it's been nothing, you know. Most recently, his Forbidden Door comments, and it ended up being, It ended up, he ended up having to sign Jay White at the last minute to make himself not look like a tremendous fool. But yeah, it's, so I'm not really sure if this is even legit at this point, you know, until I see him actually appear on WWE television. I won't know, and I don't think any of us will. I mean, a couple days ago, I think it was, Cody Rhodes had a tweet regarding retirement. Okay, is he retired then? Which he promptly deleted shortly afterwards. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. I mean, a lot of Cody Rhodes booking recently, and Brandy Rhodes booking, has made absolutely no sense whatsoever to me. It would have worked great if they were trying to book him as a heel, but I don't know if that's what their intent was, because it seemed like Cody was trying to be a face the entire time, but I don't know. I don't know if that was just bad booking or if it was actually some brilliant booking. Because if he comes back to the company as a major heel, then I guess it would work. But yeah, we're kind of all, I'm not even sure what to add to it, because obviously he has to give up his position within the company as an officer, has to give up his show, Rose to the Top, and wouldn't be on Big Show anymore, which he's losing a lot out of this deal. So I don't know what his motivation is, whether it's just he's burnt out maybe, which would be understandable because he's doing a million different things, you know, and all of them associated with AEW. So I don't know. I mean, once again, my initial reaction was that this is a work, and I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if it is or isn't. But that was my initial reaction, just because of the way things went down. You know, he had been working on a handshake deal for a little while, and then just decides to leave the company. You know, it wouldn't shock me if this was all a gigantic work, or if they have something much, much bigger in store. I know that previous to Cody Rhodes leaving the company, Tony Khan had been talking to some officials at WWE. I believe John Laurinaitis was one official that he was talking to. So, are they going to work out a deal with WWE? I don't know. But I think there's more to the story than what's being presented to the public, because never trust a wrestler. I mean, never trust a wrestler, never trust a wrestling company. They will always work you. And the fact that AEW is a privately owned company makes me even more hesitant to think that this might not be a work, because being a privately owned company, they don't have to disclose certain information to the public. They don't have to disclose their officers, who's within the organization, etc., etc. Whereas WWE, that's all in the open, all publicly available knowledge, because it has to be. Legally, it has to be. If you're a publicly owned company like that, stockholders have a say in those things. So, because the stockholders are basically, shareholders are basically the owners of the company, you know, just to a much lesser degree. Obviously, a company such as WWE, Vince McMahon is the majority shareholder, so he has the largest say of all of the shareholders, but every shareholder does have a say within the organization, and all of the records from that organization needs to be made public. So yeah, whereas that's one advantage AEW has, is that they don't have to publicly disclose anything. They don't have to publicly disclose salaries or who's on the payroll or any of that. So for all we know, Cody Rhodes could still be on the payroll for AEW. And could all just be a ruse. It could all be a work. You know, until I see a moving truck in front of Cody Rhodes' house, I don't believe any of it. But he could be in talks. I don't know. I mean, and just because you're in talks doesn't mean anything's signed on dotted line. So we got a long way to go with this, unfortunately. So we're going to watch this drama play out. Like I said, real weird booking of Cody Rhodes up until the end. So Cody and Brandy both. So if they're working us, it's probably going to be very good work. And if they're going to do something on that level, then it could be a historic thing. But it could also backfire, and it could destroy the company's credibility within the fans' eyes. Or it could draw much more attention to the product itself. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait on that, and time will tell. Recently there was a tweet from, unrelated to Cody Rhodes, but recently there was a tweet from, I know, Brian Pillman Jr., who showed him with a moving van in front of his house. He's just moving back to Cincinnati to be with his family, so he's not leaving AEW, thankfully, because I really liked him, and I like him, and I think he has a bright future with the company, so it's good to see that he's just going back to his roots to be with his family, and not leaving the company. So that's one thing I'm glad to see. We do know that AEW does have to trim its roster, and we do know that budgetary restrictions are going to have to be enforced in this upcoming year, because a number of contracts are up, and Cody Rhodes being one of them, and Tony Khan cannot afford to keep people on the roster that a lot of these people aren't even on television anymore. A lot of the half the roster, if not more, I haven't seen months on on their mainstream television shows. Maybe on Dark, maybe on Elevation, whatever. But they've got a lot of talent that they're paying a lot of money to that they have to unfortunately let go, and that's just the facts of life because they aren't contributing to the success of the company, and it's a shame. But they were needed at the initial startup to get talent there, but at this point in time, they're gonna have to part ways with a lot of the wrestlers on the roster, I think, and start trimming down because CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, those guys don't come cheap. They're paying a big price for those guys. I don't know what they're paying Keith Lee, but I'm grateful he's there. But yeah, this whole Cody Rhodes thing brings up a lot more questions than it does answers and solutions. Because, once again, he's losing 2 shows in addition to the AEW shows, and so he's losing a lot out of this deal. So unless there's a big paycheck waiting on them from WWE, I should say, which could be the case. Is he just making a cash grab? I don't know. I mean, I know people have spoken about Stephanie McMahon and Triple H being a possible match for them at WrestleMania between Brandy Rhodes and Cody Rhodes. I don't foresee that happening only because I don't see, health-wise, Triple H being in a position to be able to wrestle, especially since WrestleMania is coming up very quickly. If they the next logical thing would be, if they were going to utilize him, would be in a match against Miz and Maurice, which to me would be kind of interesting, considering they both have reality television background, they're both a couple, so that might actually be kind of interesting. So that's another possible booking for them if WWE is going to book them. But once again, I don't think Vince or anyone high-ranking officials at WWE have that high of opinion of Cody Rhodes enough to book him where he would want to be booked. I mean, I don't think he's going to settle for anything less than one of the top stars being in that top tier. If anything, he might be a top mid-carder from what they would book him with. If he's okay with that, then great. If not, then I'm not sure what Cody Rhodes is going to get out of this to satisfy his own ego, because he's shown in the past that he does have an ego. So we'll see. I guess we'll see. I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm obviously they're not going to send him to NXT unless they're going to pay him a lot of money to go to NXT, but I don't see that happening. So it'll be interesting to see, unless they transfer the rights from Rhodes to the Top to like Peacock or one of those networks that's in bed with WWE. I mean, he's going to lose out on that. I mean, maybe he wants to, maybe he doesn't want to do that show anymore. I don't know. And they could always continue Rhodes at the Top. One suggestion was with Dustin Rhodes. I don't know how interesting that would be. Dustin, from all accounts, seems to be a really cool guy. So I don't know how interesting that would be, because with Cody, you have the drama, you have the ego. It's kind of like watching a car crash. So I'm not sure that following Dustin around with a camera, playing with his dog and teaching people how to wrestle would be all that interesting, but maybe it will be. I don't know. Listen, I really like Dustin Rhodes, but I'm not sure he'd have the same demographics and the same appeal as Cody and his wife Brandy would on the show. So, yeah, obviously I want to get that out of the way right off the bat, because everybody's covering it. It's big time up in the air, and big news, and maybe it's done just to draw more attention to AEW. I don't know. Maybe Cody is legitimately gone from AEW. I do not know. Time will tell. But it's fun to speculate, and it's interesting. But those are my possible viewpoints on it. It could be a gigantic work, or it could be a money grab for him from WWE. But other than that, Dynamite was in Nashville, Tennessee. Not too far from me, 2.5 hours from where I am. Great to see that on March 6th, they're going to have Revolution, which is going to feature Punk versus MJF. I'm glad they're extending that feud. It's going to be a dog collar match, which should be awesome. That's going to be great between MJF and Punk. Let's see. We had Danielson versus Lee Moriarty, which turned out to be a lot better match than I thought it would be. And then at the end of it, Moxley cut a great promo. This is getting interesting. I think they got a lot of different ways that they can go down with that. I think eventually, somehow, Moxley's going to be teamed up with Danielson. So that could be interesting. And then they maybe bring up a bunch of wrestlers that they can train and create kind of their own stable. Would be interesting. We had a nice vignette from Keith Lee. It's really great to see him. He's on his honeymoon now, so it's good to see he's enjoying that. Wardlow's getting a lot bigger pops, so his turn's got to be soon. They got to turn him soon, I think, because he's getting babyface pops all over the place. There was kind of a cringe moment with when they brought Britt Baker brought on Sensei Kreese from Cobra Kai. It was a little cringy, but it was still entertaining. We had Nashville. Now we had Melissa Joan Hart in the audience, which was kind of cool to see. I know she took some photos backstage with some of the wrestlers, like the Young Bucks and whatnot. She moved from Connecticut to Nashville, so it was cool to see her pop up at a live event. That's always fun. I was on the set of one of her movies that was filmed in Connecticut and watching it. It was really cool to be around. So that was neat to see. But yeah, aside from that, that was really what was interesting from Dynamite. Impact had their pay-per-view, No Surrender, which Jay White crashed. Impact's not doing anything to get me to watch the show. I'm sorry. And I used to love TNA, and they're really not doing a whole lot to get me to watch. I know AAA had their big event. Was it Ray of Rays, I think, which if you're a John Morrison fan, he came back as, what is it, Johnny Superstar, I think. So he's back wrestling in AAA. That should be pretty cool. Ty Valkyrie also made her appearance there. So we got a few things happening there in AAA, which is good to see. I'm glad to see Morrison wrestling. I kind of would have liked to have seen him go to AEW, but I don't think that's going to happen. They said I think they need to start cutting some wrestlers rather than possibly signing some of them because that roster is looking awfully bloated, and a lot of people who aren't contributing anything whatsoever to the shows. And of course, WWE had their Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia, which is kind of odd. It must have been a nightmare to set that up and bring that cage over. Jeez. Wow. I'm guessing they flew it over? I don't know. Or maybe by boat. I have no idea. Jeez. That's a heck of a setup, though, to go a long way. He had Rey Mysterio with Dominic in his corner beating The Miz. He had Roman Reigns defeat Goldberg, thankfully, by technical submission. Oh. They're saying this might be the last we see of Goldberg. I am really hoping that. I mean, I'm a Goldberg fan, but it's time to pull the plug on this. He couldn't wrestle when he was in his prime, and he can't wrestle now, and it's time to be done with Goldberg. I'm sorry. Maybe they can bring him back as an ambassador or a Legends contract, but to continually have him in top-tier matches like this, I know they want to bring these guys out for Saudi Arabia. They get a lot of stuff, a lot of appeal, a lot of kickback for that, but But man, it's time to pull a plug on Goldberg's wrestling career. I'm sorry. He had a tag team match with Naomi and Ronda Rousey that defeated Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. That really doesn't. I'd much rather see Ronda go up against Charlotte Flair by herself, but that's going to be a WrestleMania thing. This was just to hype that up and put more interest on that, I think. Drew McIntyre beat Madcap Moss. Okay, whatever. Madcap Moss. That's a thing. Okay. I'm not even sure what to say to that. But yeah, real interesting that they would bring this particular event to Saudi Arabia, because usually Elimination Chamber is pretty brutal. I'm not sure. Obviously, Saudi Arabia doesn't feel the same way against violence as they do persecuting women and minorities, but it is what it is, Becky Lynch defeated Lita. Becky Lynch wearing Kairi Sane's old outfit, which is kind of weird, but not sure how I feel about that. Lita obviously was an attraction brought back, so that'll be our last match probably, but that's kind of, it is what it is. Usos versus the Viking Raiders. Why? That just ending in a no contest is just why. Brock Lesnar defeating Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Matt Riddle, and Seth Rollins in the Elimination Chamber. And Lesnar had a really interesting spot where he kicked out the glass, which apparently they're saying was not planned. So that's kind of terrifying. This man truly is a freak of nature. I don't know what to say else again about Brock Lesnar, but he's a scary dude. Wow. Bobby Lashley effectively takes Bobby Lashley's belt, if I'm not mistaken. So from what I understand, Bobby Lashley is going to need surgery, so that makes sense to why they would take it off him, I guess. It kind of sucks to take it off him this soon, but if he needs surgery, yeah, he's going to require shoulder surgery, then I guess that's their reason for doing it, because he's going to be out for 4 months, so. Alright, so if you're going to put it on anybody, yeah, Brock Lesnar's a cool choice. I can live with that, It's really heartbreaking to see Bobby Lashley be down for 4 months, so. He was doing some good work with MVP, and that sucks to see that. I really wanted to see another match between him and Lesnar, to tell you the truth. That's been something I've been wanting to see for a while. Just two gigantic wrestling guys beating the heck out of each other. Because they both have legit MMA records. They both have extremely legit wrestling, amateur wrestling records. So to see those guys go at it, I would love to see a match would have loved, I should say, to see a match at WrestleMania between those two, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately, because Bobby Lashley is requiring surgery, which blows. But hey, I didn't get to watch a whole lot of other wrestling. Unfortunately, a lot going on lately. Been having some car issues and whatnot, so unfortunately I didn't get to watch a whole lot else wrestling, but a lot of stuff going on right now. Primary thing being the whole Cody Rhodes situation. What's going to happen with him? Where's he going to end up? And that's a big deal right now. So, obviously, like I say, he has to relinquish his executive title and whatnot, because that would be a conflict of interest if he went to WWE. But yeah, we'll see where Cody ends up and see where this whole drama ends. Not a whole lot else to add to that. So thank you for listening, and like give a shout out to Lucky Lady Candles. Hit them up on Facebook and on Etsy, and some real quality product. Go look for them and get some candles. Then and Now Flea Market, downtown Trenton, right across from the square. You can't miss it. So Then and Now Flea Market, you can go down there. You can buy one of my CDs. You can buy some handmade goods from my wife. You can buy a whole bunch of other stuff from a ton of other vendors that have stuff there. I mean, stuff, brand new stuff, used stuff, handmade stuff. It's a great store. So check them out. Then and Now, Trenton, Tennessee, downtown. And give a shout out to us. Check us out on crushingkayfabe.com. That's crushing with a K, crushingkayfabe.com. There you can get the latest news from us. You can get links to all of our social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, and on Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com, look for Crushing Kayfabe, crushing with a K. And for $1 a month, you can get ad-free audio. So you can listen to this podcast without any interruptions. Be ad-free for just $1 a month, and help support us and keep the lights on. Aside from that, I got nothing else. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Be safe and God bless.